We here at Click Click Wait feel we should give a brief disclaimer. This podcast uses language some may find offensive. We discuss subjects some may find unsuitable. We sometimes spoil movies, TV, or books. Our facts may not be exact. In short, we're human. We urge you to use discretion and common sense while listening.
Hello everyone and welcome to Click Click Wait. I am your not host Anthony, and this...
Hi everyone, I'm Tony.
And I'm Carrie, and we're all lunatics.
It took us 5 tries for this.
3. Third time's a charm. So Click Click Wait, that's us. Patreon, email, Twitter is all at the end of the podcast.
And fuck Newsies.
You can't say that now.
No,
this is before the podcast.
Don't worry, they'll understand later.
We should always record the intro at the end and throw in a reference. Just record a new intro at the end of every podcast and throw in a reference and be like...
They'll understand later.
Okay, that's fine.
So I don't know if it's going to pick up our voices or not, but whatever.
We'll find out.
Heads up, I am not self-censoring, and he's a dickhead.
I am.
So, do you know the story of Iron Mike Malloy?
No.
Not.
Cool.
Once you
Good.
start, I
can surprise you guys.
But...
So, 1920s U.S. economy, stock market, goes big, and then it crashes, and we have the Great Depression, and everybody's out of fucking work. I guess farmers were already seeing a recession, and then on all the loans and shit, they upped interest rates for the first time in, forever, and then with the stock market kind of getting wonky, everybody fucking freaked out, and it was also during Prohibition, so unemployed folks would find speakeasies, and that's where our story is set. So Tony Marino owned a speakeasy in the Bronx under the front of an awning shop. Running an illegal business kept its owner out of the bread lines, barely. Sometimes the patrons paid, and sometimes they didn't. Marino had a few of the locals and regulars in the bar, and he told them that business wasn't very good. So with him, he had an undertaker by the name of Francis Pasqua, and a local grocer and father of 3, Daniel Kreisberg. So further down the bar was Mike Malloy. He was from Donegal. He was approximately 40 years old, but he had death certificates that placed him at 60, which I'll get to later in the... he had been employed as an engineer working on industrial machines in New York, but with the Depression hitting, he was out of work, and so he collected trash, he polished coffins, he did, just odd jobs, whatever he could find. So, a lot of times he didn't pay his bills. He showed up at Marino's every morning and asked for another morning's morning, if you don't mind. So, in other words, give me a drink.
So shit does that.
It's Irish.
Gonna use that term.
Another morning's morning.
Alright.
I'm Irish, I don't have an Irish accent.
I don't get it, bro.
So once Marino was like, dude, business is bad. I'm thinking about, I'm going to have to close up. The undertaker was like, hey, why don't you take out insurance on Mike Malloy down there? He rarely pays his tab.
Wait, I have heard this story. I don't remember where, though. This is fucking crazy.
Yeah. Okay, so no birth date, no family or friends to speak of. He was from Ireland originally. And then he's 3,000 miles from home, so who the hell's going to miss him? So in other words, knock off the drifter. So they were convinced that the guy's going to drink himself to death. Pasqua recruited an acquaintance to act as Nicholas Mallory, which is close to Michael Malloy, right?
It's not even... No, they're not.
Yeah,
I mean...
Sure, it's close.
I mean, if you say it with an accent and slur it...
Well, I guess it depends on how drunk you are.
Well, and signatures, too. If you look at how people sign their fucking name, mine looks like... You can see the F or, the V, but then it's everything else is just...
A scribble.
I look like my first name is now Toy. I have entirely dropped the N. I really don't know what's going on. I'm Toy Vaughn, motherfucker! I'm
just going to say our roommate because I don't know if she's cool with it. But when she signs her last name, it looks like penis. And every time I see her sign her name, it looks like penis. And I was commenting on it. She throws things at me.
Nice to meet you, Miss Penis.
Yes.
Pleasure to meet you, Miss Penis.
Don't greet her with your penis.
No.
Shall I give you my hand, Miss Penis?
Right this way to your table. No, don't rise. It's fine. We'll bring the food to you. Please.
Penis, rise. Yes. I see what you did there.
Yeah, please stay seated.
Okay, so can I read this story?
Alright, yeah, let's go on.
Great, thanks. Okay.
You wanted to record when I was tired. You get what you deserve.
Yeah, because you're funny. Anyway.
What a beautiful...
So, Nicholas Malloy is the, fake name that they're going to give Malloy to knock him off. So, he tried to get himself, the Undertaker, tried to get himself named as the beneficiary, but the company turned him down because he wasn't kin with Malloy. So then they recruited the bartender. So now it's the grocer, the Undertaker, the owner of the bar, and the bartender are in on this team.
I'm pretty sure I've heard this joke.
Yeah, pretty much. Four men walk into a bar and...
and the last one said, ouch.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Whatever. Fuck you.
4 men walk into a bar, one owned the place.
I don't know. Anyway.
Just to back up 1 second. It's actually about their plan. If you're going to create a fake identity anyway, make it so you're, if you're like, oh yeah, we made this fucker up. We're going to try to, whatever. And then you go to the insurance company, and they're like, oh, you're not related. Just make it so you're related to the fake fucker anyway. He doesn't exist. Be like, hey, the asshole, this is my brother. No, why would you go to the insurance company? Like, hey, buddy. And they're like, we're not related. Like, no, actually, he's my cousin. No, you're like, oh, no, shit, you're right. No, he's fake. Who cares?
Yeah.
Fuck.
So, anyway, so that's why they got Joseph Murphy, the bartender. And they're like, okay, so here's your 2 things. One, you're going to ID him as this Nicholas Malloy once he dies. And you're going to collect the insurance money, and then we can divvy it up amongst us. Oh, no, this plan is totally fucking foolproof.
Yeah, that's about as liable as, getting lottery tickets from the garbage
I guess they were drinking
to try and win.
turpentine, so fuck.
No, they were actually drinking good bootleg whiskey.
Alright, so turpentine with, a splash of lemon, whatever.
Anyway. In 5 months' time, the Undertaker Pasqua was able to secure 3 life insurance policies, 2 with Prudential for almost $500 each, and 1 with MetLife, which was Metropolitan Life Insurance Company, $800. Then they just had to get Malloy to sign off. So he comes into the bar that night, and they're like, oh, hey, buddy, it's good to see you, giving him back pats, and how's it going, pal? The owner gave him an open-ended tab, saying that competition forced him to ease the rules, and then they gave him a crash pad in the back of the bar to sleep off his hangover, so once he drinks himself to death, they'll find him dead in the bar. Makes their life easier, right?
Yeah.
Totally foolproof. Malloy was...
Otis and Mayberry. Motherfucker just kept coming in and locking himself in, and you know that Andy every day was like, please let this be the day he's dead. Please let this be the day he's dead.
No, Barney. Andy wouldn't.
Yeah, that's true. Barney every morning is like, motherfucker, I'm going to bring out my one single bullet. It's the only one Andy lets me have. I was going to eat it myself, but fuck Otis, man.
Okay, so then Malloy was super happy, and they're like, no, you haven't seen the Andy Griffith Show.
I would say I failed you as a father, but no, fuck that show. It's dumb, so whatever. Moving on.
Fair enough.
But Ron Howard came out of it.
Right. And Clint Howard also came out of Ron Howard's dad's balls. Have you seen that guy?
Yeah, he's the Nipples guy in Little Nicky.
Nipples, yeah, okay.
Nipples was...
I love the shit out of Clint Howard, actually. I really do. I think I actually like him better than Ron. I have a lot of animosity towards Ron from Happy Days, though. The show... It wasn't a bad show, but any show that brings in the, common vernacular jumping the shark, that phrase is fucking jump the shark. Seriously, I'm like...
Well, now it's nuking the fridge.
Yeah, I know, and that's lame, too.
Anyway, they signed a petition to get Marino into office. That's what he signed.
Objection. She's the one leading this.
Alright, fine, whatever.
I'm reading my story. You can read your story later, and then I can interrupt you. Anyway, so what he signed off on was really the MetLife and Prudential policies. They start, he's got an open tab. So this dude starts, drinking every shot they can give him. No sooner did he down one that they filled his glass again. He drank until the bartender's arm tired from holding the bottle.
Jesus.
So I think this guy is where the whole concept of Irish drunkards come from, because this dude could put it down, buddy.
Yeah.
So he finally thanked his host for the hospitality, said he'd be back soon. He was back within 24 hours. Perfectly fine. And the pattern continued for 3 days, where they were just giving him as much booze as he could drink, and he was perfectly fine. Nothing wrong with him. So, okay, so this is where it starts getting kind of weird, because everybody in the goddamn bar apparently knows about this fucking conspiracy, except Malloy.
Yeah, of course.
Because, you're not going to tell your patsy.
Well, shit, or you can. His blood alcohol content's 0.45 or something.
I think
He's
that would be...
He's a medical miracle. He's like, hey, look at me, buddy. They're like, don't open flames around this guy. He fucking breathes. We're fucked.
Well, and that's the thing is, I'm like, okay, Tony Bertoni, which, cool fucking name.
Bertoni.
Tough Tony Bertoni.
Yeah,
Say that
he would
5
be in the
times
mafia.
fast, motherfucker. Tony, I can't say it
Yeah,
once.
he has
Tough Tony
mob.
Tony.
It'd be funny if his name was actually just Tony Burr Tony. So it's like Tony. His middle name was Burr because he's always cold.
You don't get to pick your middle name like that.
Actually, technically,
it's a nickname. He'd be like
no.
Tony, like Mario.
Technically, your middle name used to be when you were confirmed with the church. You would choose your middle name.
Yeah, so he could be like, I'm always freezing, Father. Who's Burr? So he's Tony Burr.
Anyway, okay, so
Just
Tony Bertoni suggested they just shoot Malloy, which
yeah, he's not Italian at all.
he's not in the mob.
Not
What are you talking
at
about?
all. Not tough Tony Bertoni. Nah.
Yeah, no, he's perfectly fine.
Al Capone is not in that dude's Rolodex.
The cops are just looking at potential
might not be
mobsters. It's like,
either.
now what about a tough Tony Bertoni over there? Nah. He's a good one.
He's fine.
Are you sure about that? Loose lips, Al?
He ain't whacked nobody in 2 weeks, boss.
He's totally straight now.
Except for he wants to kill that guy. But we're scared to shoot him. We think he might explode.
So
I don't know what
instead
the hell
of
that accent was.
it sounded like a little newsboy, like
Yeah,
a cripple, like
Yeah, it's like
he's selling
Tiny-
newspapers because he
Did-
can't walk.
It's
And
like Tiny Tim if he learned to speak. And then they're like, I like you better when you didn't talk, you little fuck.
and
Tiny
apparently
Tim
he's from,
joined the
like,
mafia.
yeah, Tiny Tim joined the mob.
and then he went in. Not
Bob
only...
Cratchit got whacked, and
Nobody ever
Here's the thing.
Would you suspect a little crippled boy as a lookout? No, you'd be like, oh, little crippled boy, here's some fucking money.
There's
Oh, I
more
don't care, it's a depression. Here's still a fucking nickel. Go buy a fucking house.
The best
it's a
part,
depression.
best part is, like, also, I introduced the cops, so this means Tiny Tim is actually a cop now.
Well, no, maybe he's just a snitch.
Well, maybe.
Yeah, he's the Huggy Bear of the Great Depression. That was the name, right?
Huggy Bear?
Yeah, Starsky and Hutch. Wasn't it Huggy Bear?
Oh, I don't know. I didn't watch Starsky and Hutch.
Yeah, I thought he was the pimp guy. And then, like, Snoop Dogg played him in the movie.
I have no idea.
I don't know.
I haven't seen that.
Man.
Okay, so they bought a few cans of pure wood alcohol, or methanol, which had killed more than 50,000 people nationwide, thinking that they could drink it like booze during Prohibition.
Mm.
You, in fact, cannot.
None of those were Iron Liver Mike Malloy.
This guy, seriously, Rasputin of the Bronx. Like, this guy's... Anyway, even a couple tablespoons can cause blindness. So they just gave him pure, like, the size of a whiskey shot. So 2 fingers of wood alcohol for each shot.
Jesus.
You're thinking, all right, this is going to fucking kill him, right?
No, he's Irish.
I said this guy's where the stereotype comes from. I'm Irish and I can't drink wood alcohol without dying.
Yeah, but you also
Yeah,
went around in the Great Depression. Like, these dudes had booze for, like, lunch, dinner, breakfast. Like,
Oh, true.
I mean, his tolerance would have been through the roof anyway.
Well, that and especially since he was already a drunkard, so...
And on top of that, he also has more Irish heritage, which means he has more luck.
Yeah, I'm sure he was
Yeah,
probably...
because that's not racist at all.
Oh,
We're talking about drunk Irish people. It's not like we can get much worse, right?
yeah, I'm actually...
Well, I don't
we've
know.
Okay,
I
so
decided
far...
not to do Emmett Till, so...
Alright, so far we've defended Irish, Italians, and little crippled newsies from the 1920s. Let's see who else we can put on the list, alright?
How about that
Turn into
Scrooge?
Karen in Georgia here before too much longer.
We have to open up every podcast with an apology tour. Like, we would like to offer our sincerest apologies to the Irish. We know you are not all drunkards. We'd like to offer our sincerest apologies to the Italians. We know you are not all in the mafia. And as for you little fucking newsies from the 20s, fuck you all. You're all dead.
Jesus. That's just rude.
Harsh.
Well, they're not around to be offended. And by God, if one of them manages to hear the podcast and respond, we got bigger fucking problems than them being offended.
Dude, I would totally, like, record that shit
We'll have
and
to find
send it
the
in. That's why we drink. Because they would totally love that. Anyway.
We will have found a portal in time and space, which could only be explained through physics and astronomy, you little asshole. So go to class and you can help us out on the Newsies.
Shut up.
Get a hold of us. And they'll be like,
Look,
like,
we've
gee, mister, why you gotta be so mean?
I already-
They're like, fuck you, you little kids.
I already
Go
know.
to school.
That's
and
why
I'll be like, but mister, we don't have no schools. And I'll be like, oh, well, that's sad. Here's some money. And I'll give them $5 and they will fucking buy the whole New York City. And then we'll come back to the present and everywhere we look, it'll just be little Newsies running everywhere. But like, and there'll be no adults. And you know why? Because little Newsies beat them to death. You turn 13 and they fucking kill you.
Look, I'm just saying, this is why time travel has been found out yet. It can only be utilized through Newsies.
Yeah.
And all the Newsies died off.
They're extinct. We need to bring them back.
We need to get more newspaper flowing.
Let's clone them. I'm sure we can find at least one that's been preserved in like fossilized shit or something in like the sewer system of New York City.
Okay, so I'm going to go on with my story. Okay. So, after the wood alcohol, they gave him denatured alcohol, which is twice as poisonous. It's actually an ethanol.
It's in its nature.
No, it's denatured. So, it would have to be outside of its nature.
See,
anyway.
I'm not good at dad jokes.
Eventually.
Talk about Barkless.
I would knock you off that chair.
It's not a chair.
It's sad that your son is better at dad jokes than you.
For some
Anyway.
definitions of sad.
They eventually moved to antifreeze, then turpentine, then horse liniment, and then rat poison.
Alright, well, okay, see, I'm thinking that their, like, order's messed up. Like, horse liniment is worse than turpentine?
Well, I mean, they figured nothing else has fucking killed him. Maybe we'll do this. And why didn't they just go to the rat poison, like...
Okay,
Why didn't they just follow Tough
Antifreeze,
Tony's
like-
plan, huh?
first off...
Well, because it has to be accidental death for them to collect the
it was an
life insurance.
accidental bullet.
Accidental bullet. Yeah.
just stumbled
Random
into
bullets just out of nowhere. What is this, fucking Mario?
Like,
Random bullets just out of nowhere, you have to jump
Look,
it?
it's the 20s, alright? Joseph Joestar, he's around with Tommy guns and shit.
Well,
It's just...
Actually, like... at one point they tried to have him killed with a machine gun and he dodged the attack.
yeah, the cops would be like, alright, Tiny Tim, what happened here? It's a damnedest thing. I can't get into the Newsies voice right now. My voice is cracking.
That's more accurate for a newsie.
I've been talking too much. I gotta...
Have some sparkling water.
How the fuck do you drink that? I'd rather tongue out a fucking tailpipe. God. Fuck!
Oh, shit.
That's some hairspray in a can.
That's like flat hairspray. How's that even possible?
Well, I mean, it's flat because I opened it last
Yeah,
night.
I know, but why do I know what flat hairspray tastes like? If I drink that, my brain's like, that's flat hairspray. I'm like, one, how do I know what hairspray tastes like? And two, flat hairspray. Like, what the hell have I been doing? Like, I've been wasting my life, apparently. I just need to go around and drink random things, and I can tell strangers, what's this taste like, asshole? But like, I don't know. Fuck. What? I'm tired.
Right. So, rat poison. Not even a sign of a stomach ache.
I just gotta go back one step. Horse liniment. You use that on horses.
Yeah.
It's safe to use on horses. We're gonna put that after turpentine.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, I get that they were fucking retarded,
Well, yeah, I mean, to come up with this whole fucking plan in the first place.
but still, horse liniment
Yeah.
after turpentine?
Yeah. I
Like,
don't know.
well, shit, nothing's working. Horse liniment! Like, yeah, just throw it on the pile. Fuck, let's try it.
Well, I mean, at this point, they've already tried shit that should have fucking killed him 2 or 3 times over
Yeah,
in amounts that should have killed him.
yeah, shit, maybe they thought he was a superhero. Like, we just gotta find his weakness. Have we tried ice?
Actually.
What about milk with ice?
Just give him a cup of ice water.
Milk with ice, God.
Maybe
Anyway.
just plain water. Like, he just drinks some water and he gets the
Oh,
fucking
it's
shakes
like-
and he just dies.
That's where M. Night Shyamalan got it from. Water kills the aliens. Oh, wait, spoiler alert. Anyway.
Oh my god, David Dunn is an alien.
We're
Dun, dun,
gonna
dun.
invade a planet that is full of our weakness.
Actually, I saw a pretty good theory about that, but we'll get into it later.
I can also edit your ass out. So, one night during the
You
now
can if I
usual
keep talking.
bender,
You don't touch my butt.
Malloy crumpled to the floor. Pasqua knelt by his body, felt for a pulse, listened for breath, and finally there was a long, jagged sigh. So they think, oh shit, we finally killed him. Holy shit. And then he started to snore. He awakened some hours later, rubbed his eyes, and said, give me some of the old regular, me lad.
At this
All
point,
right.
he's actually asking for gasoline at this point.
Well, I think it'd be better for him compared to what they've been giving him. So, at this point, the plot was becoming cost prohibitive. They had the open bar tab, the cans of wood alcohol, monthly insurance premiums that they were paying on the guy. And Marino was like, dude, I'm going bankrupt. So good old Tony Bastoni, he suggested shooting him again.
I thought it was Bertoni.
Bertoni. Yeah. Typo.
I was like, you can't
Tony
change this
Bertoni.
guy's name. Like, who the fuck's this guy?
Good old.
That's what happened through this whole thing. I'm like,
It's a
wait,
little...
who the fuck is this? I had to make a fucking spreadsheet to keep the characters of the goddamn story straight because there's so many fucking people involved in this shit. Like, it's gonna get worse.
Yeah, but
It's a
how
little
could you
bit
mess
late
up
to
Tough
introduce
Tony
new
Batoni?
It's a little late in the story to introduce new characters, Riff. Anyway, Rocky Horror reference.
Which I will apologize. I failed you as a father because you've never been to a live showing.
No, he has not. We need to take him to seduction. Now they're like, okay, well, the death has to be accidental. So now they're getting real creative. They soaked raw oysters in the denatured alcohol, let him soak for a few days, and then served them to him while he drank.
Oh.
So they're serving him the wood alcohol and rotten oysters that have been soaking in basically turpentine or paint thinner or whatever.
I mean, I don't know much about denatured alcohol, but like
I think it would preserve them at that point.
Yeah, it should preserve them. I mean, they're going to be potent as fuck, but they shouldn't be rotten.
Yeah.
Unless they were rotten beforehand, in which case,
well,
whatever,
I don't know.
But
I know that they let sardines rot, but
I also know that those oysters were throwing a fucking hell of a party, man. Oh, I've never been so drunk.
Well, they took them out of the shells first. It's not like they put them shell and all in there, like fresh out of the ocean.
How do you know?
I like my version better, where the oysters are fucking trashed.
Yeah, it'd be like that scene in Alice in Wonderland where they're like coming out of their oyster bed and dancing. And anyway, so the others are playing cards while he's eating all these oysters and drinking the wood alcohol.
Hey, that might be the most disgusting sentence I've ever heard.
Yeah. Once finished, Malloy licked his fingers and belched. Nothing. Okay, so he...
It's the oysters. Bad touch! Bad touch!
The bartender tries next. He found an ancient-looking tin of sardines, opened it up, let it rot for several days, mixed in carpet tacks, and chopped up the tin and put it in with it. Slathered the, hopefully lethal spread between pieces of bread, I rhymed there, and then served Malloy the sandwich. He ate the whole thing and asked for another.
Just like me mom used to make.
Something. I'm like, what is this guy made of?
At this point, like 80% booze.
I think more than 80. I think he's like preserved now.
How much is
like
a
he would
human
have
body?
lived through the ages. Like I think they found the secret to immortality right here.
Maybe
What
what
doesn't
happened.
kill you makes you stronger.
What percentage of the human body is water?
80.
Right, so that guy has replaced literally every ounce of water in his body with alcohol.
Well, you see,
Yeah, his blood is just alcohol at this
wasn't
point.
there a crossover episode between Futurama and The Simpsons where Bender goes back in time?
There's a couple of them, yeah.
What if Bender just went back too far and disguised himself as an Irish human?
Don't do it.
The list of conspirators. So we've got the bartender, the undertaker, the owner of the bar. We've got Bertoni or whatever the
Tough
fuck his
Tony
name is.
Patoni!
Tough Tony. And his partner. So, like, the guy he's always hanging around with. They got him in on this. They're like, alright, so this guy's got more lives than a cat. So, Marino's like, why don't we freeze him to death? So,
Alcohol don't.
yeah, and he's like 900%.
It might have.
He's 900
Did
proof.
Tough Tony propose a bullet?
I mean, I'm sure alcohol has
No,
a
I think he
freezing
stopped
point,
doing
but-
that at this point. He's like, I've suggested it twice. Y'all aren't taking me up on it, so fuck you.
What do we give him? A bullet salad with some nice lead croutons.
I need to get him, like, a bowler hat, and he needs to start dressing in, like, zoot suits. Zoot suit riot. Anyway,
Actually, maybe that's my episode on. It's not economics, but it's a fucking
the
trip.
zoot suit riot? Fuck yeah.
It's a trip, dude.
So anyway, so they get him drunk, they throw him in the back seat of Pasqua's Roadster, drove him to Crotona Park, lugged him through snowbanks, so they're like dragging him through the snow, dropped him on a park bench, stripped off his shirt, and dumped bottles of water on his chest and head.
Right.
Malloy never woke up through all this.
Okay, point of order.
Yeah. Why didn't they get him wet and then drag him through the snow?
No, they're dragging him through the snow. There's this like giant herd of people. And the cops, even if they find the guy dead, aren't going to be like, gee, it's not at all suspicious that it looks like a fucking herd of elephants walked right up to this fucking bench, turned around, and walked right the fuck back.
Well, that's obviously because Tough Tony was there, and they're like, oh shit, it's Tough Tony!
No, Tough Tony's back at the bar.
I mean,
No,
I
it's
don't
just
know.
Marino, the owner of the bar, and the Undertaker.
Alright, so still, they're going to be like, there's 3 sets of prints up to the well, 2 sets of prints and a drag mark.
Yeah.
And then 2 sets of print leaving.
Well, actually, there may
I
not
don't know,
be...
maybe like cops in the 30s were just like half retarded or
Well,
something.
I know they didn't have forensic methods
Okay, I
and
shouldn't
stuff.
say retarded because that's like derogatory.
The way I see it,
Yes.
We've now pissed off mentally different abled people
this shit, let's get the Japanese in there, why not? Right?
No,
because they're not in this
they're
story.
not even in this story.
Well, you
Leave
know
them
what?
alone.
Let's make them in the story.
You leave the Japanese people alone for now.
Well, their fucking booze sucks.
Sake's supposed
You
to be
take
good.
your mouth back, like your whole mouth. Just take it back because I like sake.
I can't drink alcohol anyway.
I have
so
sake
whatever.
in the refrigerator downstairs. I have the Snow Beauty.
But
really
on the
good.
point of the footprints, though,
Yes, footprints.
if they were dragging him, there might have only been like one print leading to it because they would be dragging.
Oh yeah, one person dragging and the next person and like whatever.
And then it would be.
I mean, there'd still be drag mark and prints.
Well, I gotta imagine that they're like one on each side. Like we got each of them.
I think it depends on which way how they're dragging him.
Well, shit. At this point, they should be dragging him like have him by his feet and they just let his head bop like boom, 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 boom.
Yeah, they tried hitting him over the head at one point too, and that didn't do anything.
Well, there's nothing in there.
It's
all alcohol at this point. My brain is a sponge.
So when Marino came back to the speakeasy the next day, Malloy was on his cot. He'd trekked the half-mile back and persuaded the bartender to let him in. And when he came around, he complained of a wee chill. That's it. Oh, I got a wee chill.
Again, alcohol doesn't freeze. At least not at those temperatures.
Well, they were giving him antifreeze. But
one more of those and I'm leaving.
So,
either one of you.
Look, don't give us
I got a funny story. Wait. So
I know where you were going. Don't.
Cold shoulder.
No, you're not allowed to leave yet.
I'm gonna drink
Don't drink that. It would taste worse than my hairspray water.
Actually, I might need that to rinse the hairspray water out of my mouth.
You're not
Okay.
Irish.
I can taste it in my soul.
Yeah, no, you aren't Irish. You're Welsh. Anyway, poetic justice. The New Yorker noted that the, quote, exertion of bringing Mike to his resting place in the park left the Undertaker with a bad cold. Aww.
Oh no, a cold.
Wah, wah, wah.
So you're saying the Undertaker was a bit under the weather?
Hey! Almost. That was as close to a dad joke as you get.
I'll get there.
See,
I'll get there never, motherfuckers.
every time you say Undertaker, I always think of the WWE one. So
Oh,
just imagining this giant guy.
Bong.
Just imagine this giant guy like putting his arm around him, like, way to go, buddy, you made it all.
So, Tough Tony's partner, John, I think it's Maglione, which
Yeah, that guy's not Italian.
not Italian at all,
He
offered the
might be
services of cab driver Harry Green, which they approached two other cab drivers to ask them to do this, and they were both like, fuck no. So he just asked for $150 to run Malloy over with a car.
How much have they spent at this point?
I'll get to that. So,
Only 150 to
Like, at
murder
this point, I
someone.
think it's just got to be on the matter of principle. They're like, fuck this.
yeah, now it's a matter of principle. Like, they're like, no, fuck you, we're gonna kill you. Like, you just won't fucking die.
And I imagine Tough Tony is just like grumbling, like, if we used a bullet, we would have been fine.
Yeah, you know, if you would have taken my fucking suggestion, like, forever ago.
Look, we just give him a gun and say, oh, it's not loaded.
Well, he's New York, not Jersey. I had a Jersey accent. Anyway,
You don't know
so
where he's from.
they piled into Green's cab with it.
And I'm going to go watch My Cousin Vinny. It's a good movie.
It is a good movie, but shut up. Green drove a few blocks, stopped. Tough Tony.
Sorry, I thought you were singing the telegram for a second there. Drove a few blocks.
Stop. Fast Tony Murphy dragged Malloy down the road. Stop. Held him up by outstretched arms. Stop. No, this is not a telegram. Beep, 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 beep. Anyway, Green drove toward Malloy. Okay, so get this. They're holding him. Cab driver's driving like 45, 50 miles an hour, charging at the guy in his cab. He gets out of the way. Not once, but twice.
Fucking, did he know?
He's like drunk off his ass. So the only thing I can think is he's being like some kind of fucking drunken master at this point. Like, I'm going to Matrix out of the way.
I guess that's why there's a drunk kung fu style.
Yeah, drunken master. So on the third attempt, 50 miles an hour, they hit him. His body thumped against the hood and then thudded to the ground behind the cab. And then Green backed up over him. Okay, so they hit him. He hit the ground. They backed over him. And then another car showed up, so they, like, bailed. Because, you know.
Did they drive back over him as they left?
Probably.
Most likely.
My grandpa did that to a snake once.
A snake, not a human.
Did a
Yeah, but he
snake
did
die?
it like 10 times.
Well, that's just...
It was a copperhead, and it was on the road, and he hit it, and he's like, fuck that snake, and then he was just like, I'm like,
I mean, you already hit the poor fucking bastard.
Okay, so Joseph Murphy, who was calling as Joseph Mellery to find Nicholas Mellery, who is the fake guy, right? Called morgues and hospitals. Nobody had any information. There were no newspaper reports of an accident. So, 5 days later, the door swung open, and I sure am dying for a drink, Welcome back, Mike.
There can be only one.
Highlander.
Shit. Like, well, he's not
Irish
Scottish.
They're not. They just call them all Highlanders, but they're not from like.
I mean, hey,
They just stick in the show. Like,
Ireland-
all the immortals are like Highlanders, and they're like,
Well, and that's stupid because if not all of them are Scottish Highlanders, there's Highlanders and Lowlanders. Can Lowlanders be Highlanders?
if you take their fucking head, yeah.
well, here's
That's
the
the whole
thing.
point.
With the Ireland is pretty close to Scotland. Who said Miles didn't go and kill a Highlander and become one himself?
Who's Miles?
I don't know, drunk Irish Mike.
Mike Malloy.
Iron Mike, the original Iron Mike, only to have his title stolen from him years later by
Magic Mike.
Iron Mike Tyson.
Aww.
And that motherfucker could have killed Mike Malloy. Like 2-3 punches, and that dude would be fucking dead. I don't care if he survived getting hit by a car.
I don't, you know,
Tyson would be like,
with this guy, like, I don't know. Anyway, so he told what he remembered of the story. He remembered the whiskey. He remembered the cold slap of night air, the glare of rushing lights, and blackness. Next thing he knew, he woke up in a warm bed at Fordham Hospital and only wanted to get back to the bar.
Yeah, he's Irish.
So, convinced they were never going to rid themselves of Mike Malloy.
with a couple of tweaks, you could turn this into a fucking horror movie.
I think this is.
Well, it's like the...
Or even a comedy horror movie.
Did you see the... some kind of persistent killer with an incredibly inefficient weapon where he like runs around and he's just hitting a guy with a spoon?
Can't say I've had the pleasure.
Oh, I gotta find that for you too.
Did you mean Freddy Krueger?
No.
Kid, my fingers.
You're like Bing.
Have you played Dead by Daylight? Because he
No, I
has a
haven't.
highly ineffective weapon.
No, I have not played Dead by... I need to play Dead by Daylight.
It's on Humble Bundle. It's only like $15 for that, Friday the 13th, and a bunch of other horror
Yeah.
games.
They played it on Board Game James.
Angry video game nerd?
Cinemassacre.
Well, I don't think he did it.
James
Yeah,
and Mike
Cinemassacre. Yeah, it might have been on
You
that.
can still
But
buy Friday the 13th? I thought there was a lawsuit.
Yeah, there's a lawsuit. They can't add any content, but they'll sure as hell shill out the product,
Oh, I thought that they...
including a new special edition.
Interesting.
okay.
For a broken game.
Okay, so they found another Nicholas Mallory, and Henry Green, again, hit him with his cab. Didn't work on Mike, but
They're like, fuck it, we're just gonna kill that guy.
yeah,
He's
we're
got
just
the
going to
same
kill
name.
this guy.
It's
We're
fine.
going to put the ID in his pocket. New York Times reported that a quote-unquote Negro saw a man plowed down by the car and quickly wrote down the taxi license number. I fucking hate that word. It was
Taxi?
Green's... Yes, taxi. I
What do
hate
you
that
got?
word.
What do you got wrong with number?
An ID
the
card.
number's a little sad today.
Huh?
The number one died.
Oh yeah, Stephen Carl.
Yeah.
He
Robbie
played
Rotten,
Robbie Rotten in Lazy Town. He died of cancer.
pancreatic
I
cancer.
finally got him.
Well, he fought it off and then it came
Yeah,
back.
that's what I'm saying. Like,
It's
I mean,
pancreatic cancer though. Like that's like by
You
far
can-
the deadliest form of
you can
cancer.
get it. You can, if you find it early enough, they can get rid of it. But there's always a chance it's going to come back because it's fucking cancer and it's pancreatic cancer. And without a pancreas, you can't digest your food.
Yeah,
Well, you can digest it. You just can't get any fucking nutrients out
Yeah,
of it.
something like 80% of
It's
people
horrible.
die like within
Any
the
kind
first
of like
year.
esophageal, stomach, or like
Well, in his version,
pancreatic
it was
cancer
like
just-
rare
ugh.
even for pancreatic cancer. It was like bile duct cancer.
oh
It's
Jesus.
so rare that they don't even know how it responds to chemotherapy. So it's just
Well, obviously it did at first.
yeah. So they just like we're gonna throw everything at it and see what sticks.
That's really sad.
I was really hoping he would live through it.
Well, he did the first time.
Stefan was a really good person, honestly.
Like the person himself.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah, he
I mean,
embraced
Robbie
his-
wasn't a very good person.
Oh,
Deep down,
man.
he was.
I mean, he's about as bad as Waluigi.
Well, did you
Yeah.
see his thing? Because Stefan did a AMA, and they're like, what do you think Robbie Rotten really thought of the people of Lazy Town, like deep down? And his answer was, I really want them to be my friends.
It did seem that way in the show. Like, that
Yeah.
he was doing it because he didn't know how to be like, I just want to be friends. So he has to be an ass.
I feel like it's a little bit of both. He wants to interact with them, but at the same time, he also just really wants to get some goddamn sleep.
That too.
I mean, I would too. I mean, no offense to Sporticus, but if he was my fucking neighbor, I'd be like, asshole, simmer down. Fuck.
Seriously, stop fucking cartwheeling everywhere, for fuck's sake! You can walk!
I'm just saying Robbie Rotten's kind of my spirit animal, because fuck Sporticus.
It ended up not killing him. His name was Joseph Patrick Murray, the second intended murder victim. So these guys just suck at killing
They didn't
people.
even get the name right. Or did they just pick a random guy like,
Oh, they picked a guy and they stuck... It's fine, it's just
okay.
a screensaver. They stuck the ID card in his pocket. It doesn't matter who the guy really is. They just stuck the ID in his pocket and then...
and hope
offed
that
him.
nobody's going to show up and be like, oh, hey, that's...
Yeah, they found him in a depression colony.
Yeah, I mean, I guess...
And he got drunk at a speakeasy in Harlem before being offered a lift and free booze by a taxi driver.
Yeah.
Wonder who that was.
Is that good old Henry?
Yeah. So, 7 months after the murder trust, first... Murder trust is what they were called in the media. First hatched their half-baked idea
Which one?
to murder Michael Malloy.
Yeah, after that, they just got less and less baked. Towards the end, they were just literally throwing yeast and shit at people.
Yeah, flour in the bag. They didn't even take it out of the bag. Just
That shit,
winging
that
it.
might have worked better than a taxi.
Tough Tony.
Like, we're going to beat him to death with flour.
Well, and they tried hitting him in the head. They tried a machine gun attack. Like, the motherfucker just won't die.
Did they try cutting off his head? It always works
Well,
on
how
Highlanders.
is that going to be accidental, though?
You know, guillotine.
I accidentally walked in. Well, I don't know. There was a story about this little girl that was running across the street with cookies and decapitated herself on a clothesline.
You'd have to be hauling ass. This must have been some good cookies.
Must have been a real good clothesline, too.
That's what I'm saying. Like, first, how tight was a clothesline? Was it made of fucking piano wire? And 3, like...
As far as accidental decapitations, have you never seen the, like, masterpiece that was the Final Destination movies?
I'm talking about real life, not fictional king
They were documentaries.
bloody water coming out of whatever receding...
I will not know. You will not besmirch. These were documentaries.
No, they weren't.
Yeah, so was the Blair Witch.
Yeah, so was Saw.
Saw wasn't? No, I'm sad. No. But they did do something pretty cool with the Final Destination. They, like, looped around in that last movie. So, like, the dudes, like, they escaped their death. But it turns out that they, like, got on the plane. It was the plane that blew up in the first movie. So, like, the whole last movie, they're, like, trying to escape death and shit. Spoilers, by the way. Fuck you. If you haven't seen it yet, it is years old, so get fucked. Anyway, they, like, escaped their deaths, and they're like, oh, we did it! And then they get on the plane, and it's the plane from the first movie that all the people get off of because the dude got the bad feeling, and the plane blows up. It's a pretty cool twist.
That was a good twist. I'll give credit for that.
7 months,
Sorry.
Michael Malloy finally died. He was less than a mile from Marino's speakeasy.
Tough Tony finally get him.
No. They took a rubber tube from a gas light fixture, put it in his mouth, wrapped a towel around his face, and turned it on. Carbon monoxide poisoning, basically.
Wow.
Asphyxiation. They had a doctor friend of Pasqua's file a phony death certificate citing lobar pneumonia as the cause. They got the $800 from MetLife, and then they went to the Prudential offices, and they were like, well, when can we see the body to confirm death? Well, we've already buried it. Well, not good enough, so they ended up not getting the other 2 plans. So,
Okay, first off, I'm kind of glad, but in the second, it's like, what assholes?
Yeah, dick move. But it worked
I mean, I know
out.
they're insurance companies, and, like, that's their job, but still, like, we have a death certificate. It was good enough for MetLife. Like, well, if MetLife jumped off a cliff, do you think, yeah, whatever.
anyway, so between all the free booze, free food, payoffs, planning, they spent almost all their earnings trying to cash in on Malloy's insurance. So they paid $150 to the cabbie, $100 to the doctor who wrote the phony death certificate, $65 to the undertaker, $50 to Kreisberg, the grocer, who basically hasn't done anything, $60 to Murphy, $60 to Marino, and there wasn't a whole lot left over after that.
If my math is right, that was $485.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they wouldn't have had a whole hell of a lot.
And they only spent like $20 on Malloy's funeral. They buried him in a pauper's grave in a $10 coffin and didn't even embalm him.
I'm pretty sure he took care of the embalming himself.
He was probably already pickled, yeah.
Yeah.
So Murphy and Marino both bought new suits. So a month after the murder, good old tough Tony was shot by Joseph Maglione because he thought that Tony got more money than him. So there was like a $95 discrepancy somewhere in there, and so he shot him. So he was charged with his murder.
Life's cheap to that. Those kinds, Janet. So is Janet.
The bartender was taken into custody as a material witness.
A maternal witness.
A maternal witness.
Oh, damn.
Like, we have a miracle, boys! He's about to pop!
Or maybe he's acting like the guy's mother.
I prefer to think he's actually pregnant.
Oh, now, little Joseph, he wouldn't do such a thing.
Yeah. No, wait,
He's a good little babushka, isn't it? I don't know why I just turned Russian, but...
Yeah, I don't know.
I can't believe Tough Tony died, though. Fucking plot twist.
Yeah, fucking got killed by his best friend. What the fuck, asshole?
Call him not so tough.
He's not Malone.
You know,
or Malloy.
maybe he was just talking, we would have had more money if we went with my plan. His partner's just like, shut the fuck up.
So, Prudential tried to track down Joseph Malloy. Couldn't find him because he was taken as a witness in this murder case. So they're like, And then, because these motherfuckers, apparently in their death ploy, couldn't keep their goddamn mouths shut, everybody was talking about it. So then the cops hear about it, because they're like, seems pretty suspicious that these guys couldn't kill this guy, and then this guy ends up dead. So they have him exhumed. They give him an autopsy. Official verdict was asphyxiation by carbon monoxide. If Pasqua hadn't been cheap and had taken the time to embalm the body, the embalming fluid would have removed all traces of the gas, so they would have gotten away with it. So Marino, Murphy, and Pasqua were arrested and charged with first-degree murder. Green was already in custody on gun charges. So was Kreisberg for...
He's like Dopender.
Yeah, he's like Dopender, where,
Yeah.
No Deadpool to break him out, though. Kreisberg was arrested on a robbery and assault charge, which is like, dude, you're a fucking grocer. Like, why are you robbing people?
He had to earn his money.
I guess. Frank Manzella was arrested and charged with being an accessory. Frank Manzella was the doctor who wrote the phony certificate. So then, there was also a case, the investigator's last name is Foley. He was investigating the possibility that Marino had collected a $2,000 life insurance after the death of a homeless woman, Betty Carlson. So he had MetLife look into any similar cases. Mabel Betty Carlson, 27-year-old hairdresser. She was from like a Washington, D.C. family, and she was found dead next door to the speakeasy in the apartment of Tony Marino. Official cause of death was bronchopneumonia. Prosecutors presumed while Miss Carlson was intoxicated, she was doused in cold water and exposed to open windows during cold weather before her death. So that sounds kind of like what they did to Malone. Or Malloy. I don't know why I keep calling him Malone.
Miles Malone?
Like I said, there's too many fucking characters in this story. I can't keep them straight.
Too many M's.
So by the time the trial began in October, Green turned state's witness in exchange for a lesser charge of first-degree assault for running over Murray, which was the second murder victim. The four others tried every trick in the book to exonerate themselves, and this is actually kind of cool. Marino is the only one that didn't claim this. So everybody claimed they were acting under the threats and intimidation of Tony, like Tough Tony, saying he had forced them at gunpoint to kill Malloy and kick up the insurance money to him, which Marino's like, fuck you, no. Pasqua's lawyer tried to argue that he was just the Undertaker and had nothing to do with it, which didn't hold water. Murphy and Kreisberg both pointed at each other as the one who gassed Malloy in February. That was his final death. Tony Marino, now this motherfucker, he's trying to be slick. He pleaded insanity. His lawyer brought a doctor who testified that he had a childhood fall and a recent illness, which the article I was reading said it was probably syphilis, meant that Marino had become abnormal. So then Foley had a neurologist brought in who concluded that he was faking abnormality. So in other words, this investigator's like, no, motherfucker. It's like, you are not pulling the insanity plea. Fuck you. You're faking it.
Yeah, just real quick.
Yes.
If we do find that time hole so I can go back and kick some Newsies in their dicks, because fuck those guys.
Why do you hate Newsies?
I don't actually. They're so cute. I love them, but I have to be mean to them because I started that, and they're at war with me, man.
In your brain. Anyway, go ahead.
No, over the span of like 80, 90 years, whatever, man, we're having a time war.
Okay, so...
Anyway, no. I love Newsies. They're so cute. Anyway, I want to go back and I want to be diagnosed as an abnormal. Because you can't find a doctor to do that now. Now they're all like fancy and they're like, well, we have this big old book here. Let's look at your symptoms. You're whatever. No, fuck that. I just want like doctor certified stamped on my fucking head, whatever. Like, this guy's an abnormal. I'm like, fuck yeah, bro.
You've been abnormal since I've known you.
Yeah, but I've not been medically diagnosed.
Yeah, I want to go, if we find a Newsies time
I'm
portal.
totally a legal doctor.
If we go into Newsies time portal, I'm going to go save Tough Tony. Tough Tony didn't
Timmy.
deserve that life. No, Timmy, fuck Timmy.
Y'all are hating on Newsies. Okay, so October 19th, A jury found all 4 guilty of first-degree murder. They were sentenced to death by electrocution and were driven to Sing Sing prison in New York. So they died in Sing Sing, which I thought was kind of cool. June 7th, 1934, Tony Marino, Daniel Kreisberg, and Frank Francis Pasqua were put to death in the electric chair. They just put him on the chair. They didn't actually put him in it. So, I don't know. I'm not sure. Harry Green was given 5 to 10 years for vehicular assault.
Every time you say his name, I just picture him looking like Oscar the Grouch.
I was thinking from the movie Oscar.
Yeah, I'm thinking of an actual Harry Green guy, is what I'm thinking. And I just picture Oscar driving the fucking taxi and running over.
Dude, Oscar would totally be.
He would. He'd be like,
fuck it, I can get a better trash can.
Because he loves trash. Never mind, you haven't seen the meme. So the guy who wrote the fake death certificate was convicted of failing to report a suspicious death. I think it's more suspicious that he didn't fucking die. Mike Malloy was reburied after the autopsy at Ferncliff Cemetery in Hartsdale, New York. And, as remarked in the Sarasota Herald Tribune, although he was finally murdered, his last 3 months were probably his happiest.
Yeah, I guess.
Well, I mean, he had all the booze he could drink, sort of, and all of the food that he apparently can eat carpet tacks. I wonder if he's part goat. How do you eat carpet tacks and ground tin and not...
I don't know, but they missed an opportunity. They call him Iron Mike. All right, whatever. They should got a mean Mike. It just sounds better. I know that he...
But he wasn't mean.
You don't know. He might have been a mean drunk. It doesn't... Alliteration, man.
No.
Yeah, alliteration.
Yeah, once he finds out...
I gotta take that fight to the Newsies, bro. They're bringing it to me. We'll meet in the middle. It'll be like the 60s or something.
These cute little urchins on the street.
Dude, they are not... You need to listen to the Newsies strike episode from the Dollop. Because these kids are fucking crazy. They go on strike, and they're like a fucking virtual army on the streets, and they're being led by 11-year-olds, man.
Okay, that's pretty fucking cool.
They're wearing little suits and giving little speeches and shit. It's crazy off the chain.
See,
they sound like little adults, man. The whole concept of childhood did not exist.
No, it didn't exist in that time frame. So, they're
like, I'm 8, time to get a job.
Well, they were doing the whole, factories were hiring kids and shit because, how else were they supposed to, a lot of them were orphaned with war. A lot of them were, their moms couldn't work, so these 8 and 10-year-old boys were doing whatever they could to try to put food on the table.
And on top of that, there were also just some factories that had jobs that required you to go into small areas where, hey, children...
so they took kids and put them in these, ducks and horrible working conditions.
Yeah, and, if you couldn't get a canary and you were a coal miner, you just, take a kid. It's cool.
I don't think they use kids.
Oh shit, the kid's dead! Haul ass! It's the same principle. They're smaller than an adult man. They're going to die first, like the canary. They're big enough, though, that the adults would probably get a little sick, but still. I'm not saying I wish it upon them, and it probably never happened. The logic is sound.
Just get an infant, it'll be fine.
You don't want to use an infant.
Oh, so you do have limits to what's acceptable. You can't take an infant. Now, maybe like a toddler, but not an infant.
They gotta be able to talk, because you don't even have to kill them. They can just be like, I don't feel so good, Mr. Stark. You don't have to be Mr. Stark, but they can be like, I don't feel so good, and you can leave. You don't even have to kill them. The canary has to fucking die.
Okay, how many toddlers have you been around that are, fucking dying before they're like, I don't feel
so good? That's what I'm saying. You don't take the toddler, you take, an 8 or 9-year-old.
Even them, they're gonna be like, oh, I'm too busy.
I don't know, make them...
Dude, there are kids who don't fucking go to the bathroom because they're playing a video game.
They didn't have video games then.
He's bouncing his ball off the wall,
Yeah, and as soon as he, throws the ball and he stops, he's like, thunk. You don't have to let him die. He's smaller. He's like, oh shit, he passed out. Grab the kid and run.
You're assuming they would grab the kid and run. I'm just assuming they'd be like, fuck Timmy.
Knowing my experience with humanity, they'd see the kid pass out. One of the miners would grab, their fucking pickaxe, just bet it right in his head as he goes by, and just...
put him out of his misery.
Why would you... No, that's just wasteful. The mine owners...
The problem is not that you're killing someone, it's that it's wasteful.
Okay, yes, it's that you're killing somebody, but these kids are going to have to be paid, and mine owners are going to be like, motherfuckers, you are costing me so much money to keep importing these fucking kids, just use the same one. They all have to be trained, replacement costs are through the roof. Do not kill them. do
Where
not
are they
believe
importing
them.
them from?
No, actually, they were orphan trains. They would load up orphan kids from the streets of like New York and shit, and ship them out into the Midwest. Even some that weren't orphans, they had like bounties, and people would like take them, and like there were families split up that way. And these kids were taken out and just given to like mostly Catholic orphanages, and then like handed out to people to like work their fucking farms out in the Midwest.
I hate our culture.
Humanity is fucked.
I hate our culture.
Yeah, so I mean, you're a coal miner, you're
White
an
people are
enterprising
fucking
coal miner,
terrible.
and you're like, well, I can't get any more canaries, but there's trainfuls of fucking kids that nobody wants. Well, maybe some of them they have parents, but fuck those guys. Whatever, they're split up now. So,
Well, it's kind of like I was reading stories where they used to like go into villages in Africa and like they just like forcibly kidnap children to bring them over here.
oh yeah, now that's one topic that I have to stay away from because like the whole slave trade thing gets me so
Oh
mad.
my god!
I can't even.
That's a story for the rages.
Yeah, story.
And in a way,
is like,
like with slavery, it's just I don't really know. A lot of it is just a situation where I feel like a lot of people were just trying to justify to themselves what they were doing in a way.
It was a way of having power over someone else. It's
Yeah.
a power thing.
But at the same time, like people were convinced that the white people are better than the black people.
well, they had to justify it, but it was actually mostly a money thing, not a whatever. Because the South.
Well, I don't know. Like after they were freed, I mean, shit got fucking worse. Like.
Now that was the rich white people realizing that they had to find pit the poor whites against the poor blacks because otherwise the poor guys would get together and be like, let's eat the rich. Because like,
Damn it! Now I got that song stuck in my head.
sorry, but that's legitimately like where.
And I mean, even like slavery also goes back even to like Greece. Because I remember.
Oh god, yeah, it's been fucking forever.
And I mean, to be fair, like even back then with Greece, most of their slavery was used for like building, wasn't it? Like construction.
Building, housework.
And a lot of them
Cleaning.
were just like prisoners of war.
Slavery is fucked. The official stance: we are against slavery. Shut up, man. We offended so many people. We got to take the good points where we can get.
Yeah, point.
We would like to sincerely apologize.
To the whole world.
Our comments were meant in jest.
We would like to sincerely.
Except for Newsies, fuck you guys. Those were not meant in jest. Yes, they were. I love you guys so much. You're so cute. In your little outfits and your little hats and your bundles of newspapers and your sticks that you used to beat people. It's cool. Not all of them had sticks.
Little mafias.
Just the guys that... Everybody else was cool.
We would like to sincerely apologize to the slave owners, of course. We didn't
No,
mean to.
fuck those guys.
You know, fuck
Yeah,
the slave
exactly.
owners.
Fuck
I would have, dude, fuck those guys.
If
I
history
agree.
has taught us anything, it's beware the white man.
Yeah, we're all fucking terrible.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck is wrong with white people?
If history taught me anything, is that brutal murder tends to solve a lot of problems.
The caucasity of people. Yeah.
Did you really use caucasity?
Yes, I did.
Which, I mean, I know it's more complicated
Caucasian
than that.
audacity.
Do you have-
Caucasity. We just apologize to everybody.
I don't. Fuck Newsies and slave owners.
Yeah, fuck slave owners.
Those guys must have. See, I walked away from social media. It's the best.
Yeah, if you guys ever talk to anybody on social media, it's probably going to be me because these two motherfuckers aren't on social media.
It's the
You can
best.
find me in certain very niche corners of the internet.
Discord.
Steam.
I ain't nowhere. Y'all get fucked.
And I'm putting you on the internet.
I don't care. They can, whatever. They don't have any way to contact me.
His email address is...
Go fuck yourself at gmail.com.
We should just fucking run a tabletop on the side, record that. And it's just like the story of one man and his war on Newsies.
Alright, so are we done recording?
Yeah.
I don't know, are we?
Thanks for listening to Click Click Wait. This episode was produced and edited by Carrie Folk Vaughn. Our logo and music were done by Marshmallow Girl Artistry. You can follow us on Twitter at Click Click Wait. Please rate and subscribe on iTunes and tell everyone about us when you can. If you enjoy our work, please join our Patreon at patreon.com/clickclickwait. We'll be back in a fortnight. See you then. Wait.